The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again.
See, we have the jackal with us.
Finally, yes, the jackal hunts with you.
The jackal is strong.
He is a fierce warrior.
She is brave.
He knows no fear.
Even now, when there is talk of a new monster. Big, fast, with legs like the spider.
Sorry, but I do think that was appropriate considering the fact we are getting to that closer time of the year where it is going to get creepier in Evolve. But may I introduce what we believe is going to be called Gorgon, the creepy ass spider creature. For those of you wondering how the name Gorgon came about, or the rumour that the new 5th monster is going to be called Gorgon, Amazon basically put up for pre-order a new edition for Evolve. This new edition is coming out on the 3rd of November, and it basically, I believe, is just the full game with all DLC at a low price. But unfortunately for Turtle Rock and 2K, Amazon accidentally dropped the bomb on the new name for this monster. And I don't think that was intended by Turtle Rock or 2K, because since it has been taken down, I do believe. So we are to assume that this new monster is going to be called Gorgon unless Turtle Rock or 2K make any drastic changes before release. Now, I know there's a load of you absolutely dying for this thing to come out. Well, I can give you my best guess to when the release date will be, and quite frankly, I think this is probably a great estimate. So the new Evolve Ultimate Edition is releasing on the 3rd of November, which just happens to be a Tuesday. Now, for those of you that are, stayed with Evolve for quite a while, you will know that most of the stuff that they release actually happens to be on Tuesday, or any of the big stuff in general. A few days before that is actually Halloween. So I think we can guess that we are going to get some sort of awesome reveal trailer for this brand new monster on Halloween, which is going to be really scary and really epic to watch. And then moving on from there, we are going to get the release for this monster most likely on the 3rd of November. So every monster so far has had their own little trailer, and I have to say I'm really excited to see what this new one brings, because all the trailers that Turtle Rock and 2K have done are really exciting and epic to watch in general, and I can just imagine this one's going to be very creepy. I'm hoping it's going to involve some of the most recent characters, so maybe Lennox looking around some caves and something darts across the screen. It's going to be really interesting and scary as fuck. So now we've actually covered the name of this monster and roughly where we're going to be seeing him or her, I wanted to talk about some theories that you guys had and also some stuff I found out, which is actually quite interesting, and I think it'll probably interest you guys as well. First, I'd like to take you back to my old Easter egg video and talk about the Morse code message which is left at the end of the credits. Beam, Emmetlink, M50Z3123880, X caps, Akhenaten, CMHQ. Under attack by unknown spontaneously generated hostile entities. Station defenses under entity control suffering heavy casualties. Super heavy ordnance ineffective. Advise no contact full quarantine execute protocol BG1132. 5 days of life support remaining. Type beam Emmetlink. This message in particular definitely refers to the Tier 5 monster and is quite interesting to listen to. Now, I do have reason to believe that this message was actually sent by the Tier 5 medic. Now, I'm not going to say why or how I think that, but I'll leave it to you guys to think of your theories around that. But anyway, the main quote in this message is talking about the spontaneously generated hostile entities. This would then lead on to believe that this monster can release some sort of parasite which can hurt or take down the hunters. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of people have been saying that Evolve originally don't want to actually have monsters spawn other minion monsters because apparently the hunters spend too much time taking on those minions than actually doing damage to the monster. But Turtle Rock and 2K are very clever and they will probably find different ways of doing it or going around that, which still leads me to believe that there will be something spawning off this certain certain monster. Now, just looking at this image that Totorock and 2K have released to us, there was something in this image which actually caught my eye, and quite frankly, I think it could be something to do with this theory. If you actually zoom in and look closer at the abdomen of this monster, you will see something stick out of the abdomen and wiggle around, which is actually unexplainable. After looking at it for a bit, I'm pretty sure it's not anything to do with the leg or part of the abdomen, so it's pretty interesting theory to think that this could be something living on the monster. But that is just a guess and might lead to something that's completely nothing. However, I just wanted to point that out. Now, the next theory about this monster, and all the other monsters in fact, is actually an interesting one, and the more I think about it, the more I think this could be true. So the theory is that either the monsters are learning off the hunters, or the hunters are learning off the monsters, or it could be both ways. I'm just going to play a quick dropship conversation, which some of you may have already heard, between Lazarus and Maggie, which really backs this theory up a huge amount.
The monsters seem to be getting weirder. I wonder if there's any limit to what they can do.
I fear there is not. We only met the Kraken after the Goliaths fought Markov. Lightning for lightning. And when that was not enough, Wraith. And when stealth was not enough, Behemoth.
You think eventually they'll evolve something we can't beat?
I think about a monster that learned from me, that can bring its minions back from the dead.
Right. About halfway through my question, I thought, why am I asking this?
Now, Lazarus talks about how they only met Kraken after Markov with his lightning gun fought the Goliath, which leads us to believe that the monsters are going back, producing new types of monsters that are learning from the hunters to try and take them down. And to be fair, it does make a lot of sense. Hyde has fire, so does Goliath. Markov has lightning, so does Kraken. Parnell has a super soldier ability. Wraith has a supernova ability which sends it into a frenzy. As for the relation to Behemoth, I have to say that Lennox as a sort of tanky in-shell assault could be the possibility, but even then it carries on. Lennox does have a Thunderstrike ability which is very similar to a Goliath Leap Smash. Some of you are also saying that Jack's Repulsor could be related to Kraken's Vortex. Now, Lazarus's fear in this dropship convo is that the monsters are going to learn off him, which basically implies that the monsters can somehow resurrect things or itself or other monsters from the dead. Looking back at one of the older silhouettes of the monster, there is a huge emphasis that Evolve have put on in this picture of the monster's claw. Now, it's kind of funny how Lazarus with his Lazarus device has a very similar stance. So this could imply that the monster could possibly resurrect in some way. Now, funnily enough, this actually links back to Torvald. For those of you that have been sticking with Torvald's story, you will know that he was part of a ship called the Ajax, and he went down with the ship and the Ajax crew because of this fifth monster. Ever since, Torvald has been seeking revenge, and we know very well that he's going to be doing some fucking damage when this thing comes out. But either way, in this story, he does talk about how there was another Lazarus man on his ship. This story continues since this Lazarus man apparently died and Torvald got ripped in half. This theory then continues to the final part of the tier, which is the support. And as you can quite clearly see, there is another huge emphasis on the support's hand. There's a couple of theories and speculations about the support, one of which being that this support could be the Lazarus man that died on the Ajax, who actually survived the crash and the monster in general. But personally, I don't think that can be true, since this character comes across as very female to me, and so Lazarus man doesn't really work, and also the fact that this particular character is a support and not a medic. What is very interesting though is this support's hand is ridiculously similar to the monster's hand. So I have a small theory of my own that the Lazarus man that died on the Ajax, the monster actually did learn from. And when the monster did learn from it, he obviously has some sort of ability related to this. Now, this support, I think, has come in contact with this monster before. And I think it could be entirely possible that his hand, or her hand, is actually a transplant from that monster. And the support is using the monster's ability that it's learnt from the Lazarus for herself or his self. Now, this is still complete theory and speculation, but one of you actually messaged me saying that you have good insight on what the monster's abilities might be, and you actually gave me 4 names for the abilities. Now, again guys, don't take this as what the abilities are, this is just a complete theory and guess of what it might be. But the first one was called Resurrection, which again would tie in with Lazarus and make a lot of sense. The second one was Summon, which I think could be to do with spawning some sort of creature out of this 5th monster. The third one was Trapdoor. I don't know whether that sounds like a monster's ability, but still, you know, I'm open to thoughts or anything you guys have to say. And then the last one was Rush, which again could be absolutely nothing and have nothing to do with this monster, but I thought that was rather interesting and it kind of started making me think about it. But I think 2 of those definitely tie in with the monster and actually could be the end result abilities. But either way guys, that is the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed. This took me a long time to make, so make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.